Okay, the concept of a personal survival kit that will fit in one of these Altoid type tins is very popular because this is something that will fit in your pocket. And the goal in building these kits is just to have something that, to see how much useful stuff you can fit in here and something that will actually fit in your pocket. Well, one of the challenges is always to find a good knife or a blade or something that will fit in an Altoid tin and still be rather useful. Well, I think I may have found a really good choice for that, and that's what we're going to take a look at coming up next here on Survival on Purpose. Welcome back to Survival on Purpose, your home for information and gear reviews related to camping, survival, and general preparedness for regular folks. My name is Brian. Thanks for joining me. So, as I said, the ubiquitous Altoid tin. These things are everywhere. There's videos all over YouTube about Altoid Tin Survival Kits. My buddy Jim up there at Yooper Survival made a really good Altoid tin video, and I may put a link to that one right up here. If I can find that one, because it's really worth watching. I'm telling you, it's about 15 minutes long, but it's well worth it. But the stuff he puts in his tin is unbelievable. But one of the challenges I've always had, anyway, is to find something, a decent knife that will fit actually in a tin that is useful. Because you know the little X-Acto knife blades or razor blades and all that a lot of people put in here, they don't take up much room. But let's face it, they're really not useful for a lot of knife stuff. So anyway, the folks at Schrade/BTI were kind enough to send me one of their SCHLPB Little Pal, and it is a folding knife. It's not a fixed blade knife, but this is a pretty good candidate, I think, for the survival tin knife, because it is. I mean, if you just look how small this thing is, and we'll talk about the specs of this thing in just a minute. But just to show you, I mean, it fits easily in a survival tin with lots and lots of room for something else. You can even stand it up like that and it'll close. So pretty compact knife. So anyway, definitely it fits. The question is it functional? So let's take it down to the old stump top and we'll get to doing a little bit of that knife stuff with this thing. Okay, so here we are with the Schrade SCHLPB Little Pal. And we'll talk about the specs of this thing real quick. Let me get it up here because it is little where you can see this thing. So this knife has a overall length of 5.31 inches open, or 13.49 centimeters for those of you who are still stuck in that old metric system, with a blade length of 2.28 inches or 5.79 centimeters, and a closed length of just 3.03 inches or 7.7 centimeters, which is what allows it to fit in that Altoid tin. It weighs just 1 ounce, which is, I don't know, what's that, 28 grams or something like that. Features a drop point blade of 7CR17 MOV stainless steel with a black stainless steel handle. It's a frame lock design, so as you can see right there, just a frame lock design, very simple. And it actually comes with a little carabiner that you can, here's a picture of it because I have lost it already when I opened the pack up. I don't know, between the back door and the outdoor studio it has disappeared. But you can basically take that little Torx bit here loose if you want to and hook it on that open little brace there, pin or whatever you want to call it. Now, one thing I like about this, you can see it's just a very simple design. Okay, it's 1 ounce first of all, so it doesn't weigh very much. So flat open design, frame lock, just not a lot to go wrong with this knife. Double thumb studs, but surprisingly it's pretty stinking solid. There's not a lot of lateral movement in there. It is a very small knife, but you can see the lockup on this thing. That frame really locks up nice and secure, so it's way over under the blade. I don't really have any chance, I guess, no concern about this thing closing up on me. So, and it feels pretty sharp. It's a nice standard drop point blade. So, man, yeah, it locks up good. So anyway, there's that. Again, I just moved the camera, sorry. There's that. Again, it fits very well in an Altoid tin. So, in my mind, this is probably way better than a razor blade or a scalpel or some of those other things that are included oftentimes in very small survival tins. But one way to find out is to do some knife stuff with it, and that's what we're going to do right now. So let me just get this out of the way. We'll just start with this little piece of wood here, whatever this is. I don't even know what kind of wood it is, and just see if we can carve some feathers with this thing. And we'll see how, oh man, oh yeah, look at that. I can tell you right now, it's doing well. So we'll just carve a few of those feathers there, just to show you how well. Because this is survival. If we're going to use this in a survival kit, it's got to be able to do this kind of knife stuff, right? So, and I'm trying to say, I'll be really surprised if it's not a hollow grind. And I think it is. It is definitely a hollow grind. But that being said, let's just see if we can different ways of using it. The handle is really big enough that you can kind of, you can get a pretty decent grip on it with 2 or 3 fingers anyway, and really put a little pressure on it. Compared to you cannot do that with a razor blade or a scalpel blade. People say you can you can fasten a handle for it or whatever. Okay, whatever. You don't have to do that with this. It's right here. And the price on this thing is under 15 bucks. So somewhere in that ballpark, $13.50 or something like that, depending on when you look at this video. But we could do this all day. This thing does a great job of carving feathers. But in the interest of time, since it is really getting dark here, we're going to go ahead and just go to the next phase of our testing, which is going to be, surely a little bit of this here fat wood. And we're going to carve off a little fat wood here, because I just don't see how I can hardly make a video without playing with some fat wood, at least a knife video. So definitely good job there. Now certainly I will say, you can see there's a little bit of a hot spot here on my finger, because this is, the frame on this thing does poke a little bit, but this is not going to be your everyday, this is my tried and true everyday use knife. I think for a survival knife, I guarantee you that hot spot there is nothing compared to what it would be if you tried to grab a razor blade. You'd have a red spot. So anyway, we got this here. Let's just see how well this thing, I don't know if the back spine is sharp at all, if it'll strike a ferro rod, but barely. I mean, just really, really barely. Certainly we could do it with a blade. I want to try to do it with the, okay. I'm going to see what we can do with this thing. I'm just going to see. Not too many sparks. Okay, I know I can use the blade, but I sure don't want to. Let's try this. Alright, we're going to wind up having we got a little bit of jimping back here on the very back of the blade. Let's see if that might do something with it. I don't know if it will or not. Again, there's no doubt I could get a spark with a blade. I'm just not going to trash the blade unnecessarily. If it was an emergency survival situation, I certainly wouldn't hesitate to use a blade. The jimping seems to be working though. Not great, but alright, you know what? Here's what we need in this situation. Need a little more of that there fat wood. Or more feathers. But trying to get done before it gets dark. Okay. Try the jimping again on the fat wood. Now that we got a little fat wood here, let's just see. Okay, you know what else fits in an Altoid tin? A lighter. Just scraped the skin off my knuckle trying to do that with this ferro rod. And again, I'm sure there's no doubt that the cutting edge of this would strike a ferro rod, but again, there's no sense in damaging that if I don't have to. So you know it and I know it, it'll do it. So what's the point in my screwing it up just to show you something you already know? Okay, well there you go. That was a Schrade SCH, what is this thing? SCHLPB Little Pal, and like I said probably over and over and over, I think this is really just probably one of the best options I've seen for a super mini survival kit style knife, Altoid Tin kit. This one might even fit, actually it probably would, in one of the tall prescription bottle kits that you know you can make. Just anywhere you would need a really compact but functional knife, I think this would be a good choice. Because it's a folding knife, you got an actual usable handle and about a 2-inch usable blade here. So this is something you can actually do some work with. You know, not heavy work, but way more than a scalpel blade or a razor blade or something like that. Certainly those are useful for skinning small game maybe, but this could skin the small game and carve some feather sticks. And you know, if you want to screw the blade up, strike a ferro rod. But that's why I always recommend having a lighter with you. And if you want, don't lose the little clip. You can hang it on your keychain if you like to or whatever. It's just in my opinion, this one seems to be a very useful little tool for around the $15 mark. So I got to say, this is one of the things. This is one of the knives that I asked them to send me after perusing through their catalog. I thought it'd be pretty cool, and I really thought it was just going to be a good budget knife. As it turns out, it's smaller than I thought, and that turned out to be kind of a plus because it does fit in a lot of small places, and it is in my opinion, a much better choice than a razor blade or a scalpel or an X-Acto knife blade or many of those other choices. So anyway, once again, thanks to the folks at Schrade and BTI Tools for sending me this so I could show it to you. And as always, thank you for watching Survival on Purpose. I put out a brand new video every Friday and every Saturday, and very often random videos throughout the week. There's another one right there. And if you're not subscribed, please click down in the corner and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. Once again, my name is Brian. You're watching Survival on Purpose. Remember, survival is not an accident. So be prepared. I'll see you next time.